If you have too many interests, if your mind keeps wandering from one curiosity to another, if you've ever felt quietly guilty because you couldn't choose just one path and stick to it forever, there is a gentle truth that often gets overlooked, and it is this: you might not be unfocused at all. You might simply be built for a different kind of future, one that looks less like a straight ladder and more like a wide, flowing shape, rising, dipping, and rising again, something many people now describe as the M-shaped future. Imagine this future not as a rigid plan, but as a calm landscape where multiple skills grow side by side, where learning never truly ends, and where identity is allowed to shift without shame. In this future, having many interests isn't a flaw to be fixed. It's a quiet strength waiting for the right moment to unfold. When you think about how the world used to work, especially in the stories we were told growing up, success often sounded like a single road. Choose one thing, get good at it, climb steadily, and never look back. But for people with many interests, that road always felt a little too narrow, like trying to fit a wide, curious mind into a thin, straight hallway. You might have tried to force yourself down it anyway, telling yourself that one day the restlessness would stop, that eventually you'd feel settled. But instead, the curiosity kept returning, whispering about other ideas, other skills, other ways of seeing the world. The M-shaped future doesn't ask you to silence those whispers. It invites you to listen to them slowly, patiently, without rushing. In this future, growth doesn't only go up, it spreads out, it reconnects, it loops back, and it creates unexpected bridges between things that once seemed unrelated. Someone who loves writing and technology and psychology and design might once have felt scattered, but now they become the person who understands systems and stories at the same time, the one who can translate complexity into clarity, the one who sees patterns others miss. When you let this idea settle into your mind, it can feel oddly comforting, like finally being allowed to breathe at your own pace. The M-shaped future recognizes that people evolve in phases, that you might dive deeply into one area for a while, then step sideways into another, carrying what you learned with you, stacking experiences rather than abandoning them. It's not about being mediocre at many things. It's about developing several peaks of competence over time, each one supported by the others, each one making the whole structure more stable. There's a quiet resilience in this shape because if one skill becomes less useful or one industry shifts, you don't collapse, you adapt. You lean into another strength, and you keep moving forward without panic. For a sleep-friendly mind, this idea can feel soothing because it removes the pressure of getting it all right the first time. It says you don't need to decide who you are forever at 20 or 30 or even 50. You can be many things, one after another, sometimes overlapping, sometimes resting, and all of it counts. People with many interests often have a natural ability to connect dots, to bring empathy from one field into another, to solve problems creatively because they aren't trapped inside a single way of thinking. In a world that changes faster every year, this adaptability becomes deeply valuable, even if it isn't always loudly celebrated. The M-shaped future rewards those who are comfortable being beginners again, those who can learn, unlearn, and relearn without losing their sense of self. It values curiosity as a long-term asset rather than a distraction. As you imagine yourself moving through this kind of future, you might notice how the anxiety around wasting time starts to soften. Nothing is truly wasted when it shapes how you think, how you see people, how you approach challenges. That random interest you explored years ago might suddenly become the missing piece in a new role, a new project, or a new chapter of life. The calm beauty of this future is that it allows your story to be layered instead of linear, rich instead of narrow. It understands that human lives are not spreadsheets. They are slow, unfolding narratives with twists, returns, and quiet transformations. If you have too many interests, you may have spent nights wondering what's wrong with you, why commitment feels heavy, why boredom arrives so quickly. But perhaps the question was never what's wrong, only what shape fits you best. The M-shaped future doesn't rush you. It doesn't demand constant proof. It simply invites you to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep weaving your experiences together into something uniquely yours. In this gentle vision of tomorrow, success is not a single peak you reach and stand on forever. It's a landscape you move through with curiosity and care, sometimes climbing, sometimes resting, sometimes wandering, always growing in ways that feel quietly right. And as this idea settles like a soft thought before sleep, you may realize that your many interests were never a problem to solve. They were a map leading you toward a future spacious enough to hold all of who you are.